I need something that is going to give me this generational wealth. Where can I put my money that's going to make that happen? Well, the stock market, not necessarily, because you've got the volatility. Real estate, I love real estate, but real estate is volatile too. It goes up and down in value. Crypto, great asset. It goes up and down in value. Think, where can I put my money from the nuts and bolts perspective that's going to give me that guaranteed generational wealth that I want? In my 25 years of doing this, Steve, there's only one place I've ever seen that checks all the boxes and allows someone the peace of mind and the guarantees, and that is high cash value whole life insurance. The reason we utilize the tool, the reason banks utilize the tool, the reason major corporations utilize that tool and other wealthy individuals as well, is because it checks all those boxes. It gives the guarantees, the predictability, the cash value access, many, many things where you don't have to worry about volatility or those unknowns in those other investments that I talked about. We're going to look at some real numbers so people can see the nuts and bolts of how cash value whole life works. And imagine this question coming to fruition in your own life. I'm going to put money into something and I know there's going to be a guaranteed payout much larger than the amount of money that I put in. How would that make you feel if you had that in your portfolio? To me, it's remarkable to know that that even exists.
Yeah, you know you're going to have it, and a lot of if you're a wealthier family, then you know this, and maybe even if you're just studying the wealthy, safe capital is a priority. So from generation to generation, in the families that preserve wealth, one of the tenets is typically, don't mess with the safe capital. So young Johnny kind of knows maybe there's a little pool to invest and play around, but the safe capital is sacrosanct. So in this case, I think that's what you're talking about, right, Barry? You're building a reserve of safe capital that will continue to grow and compound, guaranteed in a system, tax free, and passing from one generation to the next tax free, which is very powerful because if you compare just regular kinds of assets that, other than real estate, which gets a step up in basis, but a lot of assets get taxed, and then that chops down the inheritance from generation to generation. Big one is tax deferred accounts like IRAs are heavily taxed into the next generation, and so due to required minimum distributions. So yeah, so this is very powerful. So when you talk about building a bridge for legacy, you're talking about guaranteed growth, tax free, knowing it's going to keep growing, like you said, and also passing to the next generation, tax free.
That's right. Let's look at some real life numbers. Great little segue there. So we've got here 50,000 a year going into a policy. We're building up this family banking system. We see the cash value here in this center column. Cash value is always growing. And this is a family banking system because this person can take policy loans. They can invest in a family business. They could invest in a family real estate portfolio, lots of different things that they can do with the cash value. They are not locking up their money.
Hmm.
But from the generational wealth perspective, take a look at this column over here, which is our total death benefit column. And notice that that total death benefit is growing every single year, which, a lot of financial entertainers out there say, oh, you get whole life insurance, you got a level death benefit. Nope, not with the companies we use and not with the design we use. A growing death benefit, which is increasing that generational wealth for the next generation. So as time goes on, growing death benefit, and this policy is only funded through the age of 65. 50,000, you're at 2.48 million at that point and a $4.5 million death benefit. But look what happens coming up. At the age of 66, the 50,000 premium is no longer being funded. He is now putting in the minimum of about 11,000 a year. This is not required. You could stop. But in this case, the 11,000 continues. Why? Because it keeps that death benefit growing, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. And frankly, the dividend at that point is $85,000. Why not keep putting in the 11,000 premium if you're getting an $85,000 dividend and total growth in cash value of 148,000. What I mean by that is if you look at this cash value growth, the change in the cash value is this number here. So from 2.63 million to 2.79 million, that's $156,000 worth of growth. 91,000 of that was the dividend, 11,000 was premium, and then the difference is the guaranteed growth of cash value that a person gets. Life expectancy for a healthy 40-year-old today, Steve, is 85. What happens at the age of 85, in this case for generational wealth? We see 85 here. Notice the death benefit is 8.791 million. This can pass, if done correctly, 100% tax-free. So you got the family banking system along the way. All that cash along the way was liquid to be used for whatever you want. And then for the legacy play, that generational wealth at death, you've got an $8.79 million death benefit that passes to those heirs, in most cases, 100% tax-free.
Yeah, great legacy plan. And the reality of it is that when you have this much momentum, that the legacy component oftentimes comes pretty effortlessly if you're working hard on the system during your lifetime. That's the leverage with the death benefit and with this growing cash value through your whole lifetime funding the death benefit. So terrific topic, and one that I think people can take to heart in terms of giving that jump start to future generations, educating future generations. If you've got a legacy like that you're passing, it lends credibility then to educate future generations on values and to help get them off on a better footing than if they have to kind of try to figure it out, which I know many people that are self-made have gone through that process as well. So great topic. Thank you, Barry. I appreciate you all watching. If you have comments, leave them. Keep tabs on our channel for more topics like this, and we'll see you in the next video.